Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start our video with a story about a dangerous intersection, a strict adherence to traffic laws, and an encounter with a road rage Karen. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Karen threatened me because I followed traffic laws. I was traveling home to my childhood home after work and school. The freeway exit at my house is a major hub and was built in such a way that it causes a lot of accidents. If you make a right turn, there's immediately another set of lights for another multiple lane intersection. These lights are supposed to be timed together, but they are often very, very off. So the first light is green and the second is red, can only accommodate 6 vehicles before the 5th is sticking into the intersection and blocking a lot of traffic. People do this all the time. There's an entire blockade because idiots can't remember you aren't legally allowed to block intersections in California. So as usual, the light turns green, cars go, the second light is red and fills up. I'm stuck at the first light. I'm not going because I cannot fit my car there, and I'll be fully blocking traffic if the light turns red and it's another lane's turn to go. I hear honking, but I don't care. I legally cannot go. This car pulls out beside me. She's in the lane that's meant for turning left, so she's on my left. At first, she rolls her window down, and now I'm thinking maybe there's something wrong, so I roll my window down. Karen, do you want me to beat your butt, B? Me. What? I was so confused. I've never met this woman in my life. Like, what have I done to you? Karen, out here blocking the road, you dumb B. I should effing beat your butt. There's now literally cars all down the left side who cannot make a left turn because this Karen's got her car parked across 2 turning lanes to get mad at me for not disobeying traffic laws that have literally caused thousands of accidents in this spot. It's a death trap. Now the lights turn green and I'm just like, no. I'm not dealing with this, and I drive off. I'm in my car like I'm supposed to be. I'm having a mild panic attack because she's threatening to find me and basically kill me in very colorful language as I drive off. So I pull off into a parking lot with a lot of cars at the grocery store so I can slow my breathing and my heart rate. She's following me. I hide down in my car and she's driving up and down the aisles like a psycho, nearly hitting other vehicles and people walking until she gives up and leaves. I never thought in my life a Karen would get that upset about not being able to move her car up like 1 car length would make her want to commit murder. In the future, try to write down or video the license plate. You can take that to the police and file a report. And our second story. Woman wants me to break wage laws to tutor her kid. I'm a tutor. I charge £22 per hour. This sounds pricey, but PhD students on the website charge $30 to $45 an hour, while teachers charge £40 to £60 an hour. I'm a teacher and a PhD student, so I am comparatively an absolute bargain. I also offer group classes at £7 per student per session. I charge this low as I'm from a low-income household myself and believe education should be accessible. The website takes 20% of my earnings as a platform fee, 40% for group lessons. I got a student in my group class who is generally a good student, except they were sometimes disruptive in class, trying to distract other students and messing about. As the group class was coming to an end, I got a message from their mother asking if I had any more groups coming in. I said I did and gave her the info, but then added that due to the student's behavior, she might want to think about private sessions. She then said she couldn't afford the private sessions, and I felt bad for suggesting them. However, the kid is smart and willing to learn, and I used to offer discounts, so I said to the mom that I would drop my price to $13.10 per hour. This is the lowest I can legally do, as minimum wage is $10.42, and this gets me $10.48 after platform fees. She says, great, thank you so much. Can I use my free introduction? Each client gets 20 minutes free to meet the tutor to discuss it. I say sure. We book it. I've just logged off. I have never had a meeting go so badly. She was hostile from the jump. She wanted me to drop my prices again from $13.10 to $7 for private tuition. I said I could not do that as I'd be earning just over £5 per hour, which is illegal. I suggested alternatives, such as meeting her child once a month rather than weekly, but she wasn't having it, calling me greedy and selfish for charging above minimum wage for something her kid learns in school for free. I say this is minimum wage and explain the platform fee and say if she yells at me again, I'm logging off. She says I'm being rude and need to think about how I speak to clients. I take a deep breath and say that I want to help her kid so she can either take the 13 and say thank you or she can find another tutor, but I will not tolerate abuse. She then called me the C word and told me to go F myself. And here's the kicker. The last thing she said to me, my husband's a solicitor, expect to hear from his office. Now, I could be wrong, but a two-parent household where one parent is a solicitor doesn't sound like a low-income household to me. She could be lying, but still. I said goodbye and logged off. She's since left me a 1-star review talking about how awful I am as a tutor and a person. The sessions are, of course, recorded for safeguarding purposes, adults talking to kids online, so I'm emailing support now to ask them to review the footage, take down the review, and suspend the user. But I had to vent about this because what the actual and literal F was that? Unfortunately, lowballing yourself invites this sort of behavior. What you're saying to the customer is that I don't value my time, so neither should you. And our next story. Refund me because I didn't win. I work the customer service desk at a grocery store. Recently, the Powerball was at almost $2 billion. I had a gentleman come to my window and purchase almost $1,200 in tickets. He made a joke I've heard 1,000,000 times over. If I don't win, I get my money back, right? He even said this while laughing and smiling. I gave him the generic, polite smile, and he went on his way. They draw the numbers the following day, and I hear that someone in California won. I show up to my shift, and it seems to be a normal shift. That is until the gentleman comes back. Despite that, one of my coworkers has offered him assistance. He said he wanted to talk with me. I finished with the customer I was with and waved him over. Before I could greet him, he slammed down his pile of tickets, receipt included, and proceeded to tell me, "Okay, Missy, I didn't win anything. You said if I didn't win, I'd get my money back, so I'm here for my full refund." I was slightly taken aback at this. I was trying to see if he was being serious or not. After a moment, I realized he was. I attempted to explain to him that regardless of winning or not, all sales on any lottery tickets are final. He started screaming, "No, no, no. You said it yesterday. If I didn't win, I get my money back. Now refund me before I call the cops and tell them you stole all my money." I tried to calmly explain to him that I understand that he's upset that he lost, but no one had stolen his money, and this is just how lottery systems work. I could see he was getting more upset, not wanting to hear what I had to say. This is where it became one of those I don't get paid enough moments. He had started getting more and more upset, so he decided to start knocking over a nearby display of candy and glass soda and beer bottles while shouting about how we had stolen his money. I had enough of this and called for both management and security. Management ended up calling the police while security detained him, and he ended up causing more than $350 in damages. It was definitely an interesting one. I would say it depends on how fast you run when customers ask if something unmarked is free. And our last story. My neighbor stole from me and went to jail. Hi, so basically I moved into a terrace house in the UK in a relatively big city about 6 months ago. The environment around the house seemed nice and decent at first. However, on the second day, my office chair, which was left outside of my house, though still behind the gates, was stolen overnight. About 3 months ago, a bike that I left outside was stolen as well. This time it was placed in a position that would be difficult for people walking past the gate to see, except for my neighbor on the right. I was initially suspicious that it might be some thief preying on the area, although the place I live in is relatively secluded and less likely to be a thief's target. Then last summer, when I was away from my house for a month, the sunbathing umbrella, along with 4 chairs and a table, were stolen from my backyard. The backyard is totally secluded and surrounded by the rest of the terrace houses, meaning it could only be my neighbors who stole it. The most convenient suspect would be the neighbor on my right, as the one on the left has a greenhouse in place of the open space in their backyard. I often find empty water bottles trashed into my backyard, though I never caught them doing it. This further supports my suspicion that the family, probably the father and son, are responsible. They must have carried the whole set of tables and chairs over the gate of my backyard and off the site, which brings me back to suspecting them for stealing my office chair and my bike as well. The man of the house always tries to be nice to me, calling me pal or mate excessively, as if to cover what he actually does. Another factor is that for almost the entire time I've been here, I've never seen him going to work. He mostly just smokes in the front yard or the backyard during the day on weekends. I know this all sounds a bit childish, but these are the only observations I've made that support my claim. Things took a turn for the worse recently. One night I came home to find my front door ajar. Inside it was clear that someone had broken in. My TV and PS5 were gone, along with a few other valuable items. I immediately suspected my neighbor, given the history of thefts and his suspicious behavior. I called the police and reported the break-in. They took my statement and collected evidence. I also handed over footage from my security camera, which had captured someone climbing over the fence with my stolen items. The footage wasn't clear enough to identify the person, but it added weight to my suspicions. A few days later, the police informed me that they had found some of my stolen items in my neighbor's house. They'd obtained a warrant to search his property based on the evidence I provided. The neighbor was arrested, and I was able to recover most of my belongings, including my TV and PS5. It turns out that the neighbor had been stealing from multiple people in the area and selling the stolen goods. The police had been investigating him for a while, and my case helped them to finally catch him. Now he's facing multiple charges, and I can finally feel safe in my own home again. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.